Hey, it worked. All right. Hello, welcome to Dave and Brian Live. Unfortunately, Bret is not able to join us today. Last minute call in, no call, no show. So that's it's going to be an issue. But we actually have a lot of stuff to talk about, so it's going to probably be a long show. Sorry, well, we can talk about that, I guess.
Give me a second.
Sorry, I sent out a tweet a little bit early. Although I think I might have hit the wrong button on the Stream Deck. So, because I have this, like I said before, I have this really cool feature on here. I press one button, it starts the animation, it sends out a tweet saying, "Hey, I'm live." It gets it's going live, plays the video, unmutes the microphones, which is due to anyway, and then brings up our names and then hides the name. So all with one button. So pretty cool. Today we have a lot to talk about. Like I said, first is I want to play an interview I had with my friend Ozzy, who I've known for 10 years now. I met him actually when I was at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, which the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale isn't even a thing anymore, unfortunately. They closed a lot of schools. That was one of them. But I made a student film, sort of, except it wasn't film, it was digital. And he was one of the actors in it. So if this software will work like I expect it to, here is the interview.
Right, it's fantastic.
All right. Thank you. Hey guys, so we're here in Islands of Adventure talking to Ozzy about his experience at Halloween Horror Nights 29. So what did you guys think?
Oh man, it was fantastic. I always come. I come every year, ever since I started coming, and this year was just fantastic, just like the years before.
Did you have a favorite house?
Let me see. I knew you were gonna go and whip out the camera, so I actually made some notes. And man, if I gotta pick the best house for me, I don't know. They just had such good things. The Yeti was great, and the reason I like that one is because as soon as you walked in there, the set decoration was great, but they made it cold.
Yeah. Every year there's always one super cold house, and that is the house this year. It is definitely cold.
And the fact that they were supposed to be out in the cold like that, it was really great. I really enjoyed that one. The Us one, the Us one wasn't too bad. But it was really similar to the movie, so I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was great.
I never saw the movie, so I know a little bit of it. The most I ever saw was that Saturday Night Live skit with it about it.
I saw that. Stranger Things, I gotta tell you, I like the show. I actually saw the first season, and I don't know, I just kind of liked last year's better. Not that it wasn't great this year, but I kind of like last year's better.
Yeah, I've only gone through it once on preview night, and I haven't been through yet because. Predictably, it is the most popular house this year again, as far as wait times.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty close tie with Ghostbusters, but it's usually a higher wait time.
Okay, and speaking of Ghostbusters, as far as Ghostbusters was concerned, it wasn't something that I was going to go and expecting to be scared or anything like that, even though they did jump out at you. But because I grew up with the movie and have seen it, I don't know how many times, it was so nice to see Zool and all these characters, and when they 3D generated Slimer coming at you, and then that whole recreation on the rooftop. That was just great.
There used to be an attraction here when Universal Studios first opened, based on Ghostbusters and based on that rooftop scene.
Really?
So kind of a recreation from the movie, but also a bit of a recreation from that scene as well. Did you try to touch any of the slime in the entrance of the house?
I didn't try any of the slime. I wanted to try the guy that had the Bill Murray's part when he had the foam on his head. Oh, yeah. When the Stay Puft blew up. And I like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That was great. That was fantastic.
And did you notice that Janine was a live actor with a microphone that wasn't pre-recorded?
Yes! It took me a second on that one. Yeah. It took me a second on that one. And she was going, and she had the little microphone there. And I was watching her, and I was like, wait, this is different. And it made me stop and hang out for a while because she was just throwing one line out there, and it was great. Yes.
Wow,
A lot of wind. I guess I should have brought my wind. Hopefully it's not. But the funny thing about that, it's like I think nobody expected it to be a scary house. At least in preview, when I went by the Slimers that come out of the wall, like they could have been like scaring you, but it was kind of like hi. So like it was just a fun house. And
Memory Lane house. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, it wasn't scary, it wasn't bloody and gory. I'm like, did you enjoy it? There you go.
The movie wasn't bloody and gory. Yeah. It's a fun movie. Yeah. And the droves of people that follow Ghostbusters. I saw a documentary before coming, and I'm sure they appreciated it. It was great. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And I think also Universal just wanted Ghostbusters to be back in the park because we haven't had Ghostbusters in the park for a long time. We used to have a replica of Ecto 1 that went around the park, and it just apparently had an accident one day. I don't know if that's true. I read it online, but yeah, we used to have one here, and got rid of it unfortunately. So,
well, let me see what else. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh, yes. There's something about that movie I gotta tell you that I just love, and when I heard it was coming here, I bought the movie. They sent it to the house, and I sat through this over-the-top cheesy movie and loved it the entire way through. So personally, when they had the Killer Clown Street experience last year, I was excited. And then
when the clowns were actually out.
When the clowns were actually out, if it wasn't looking like rain. And when they had the house this year, I just fully enjoyed it. It was great.
I loved all the smells in the house. There's the cotton candy. Oh, that reminds me of Ghostbusters. Did you notice in the scene where you passed by the hot dog cart, you smell a hot dog?
I think so. I'm not sure. That's crazy. But I was looking at the golf cart, the hot dog cart, the way it was glowing, just like the movie.
Supposedly, there's a ghost trap in the house, which is a prop that was screen used, or at least it's a faithful replica, and they spent a lot of time on the proton packs, making sure that they were exactly as close to the movie as possible, which is pretty good.
Let's see what we got. Nightingale, the Gladiator one. Yeah. That one wasn't too bad. Yeah. There was the Gladiator parts I liked. The creature parts, it was kind of like the same creature in all of them, So, but the theme of it I did like with the chariot in the front and the horse that fell and the guy eating the horse and whatnot. That I liked. Depths of Fear. The Depths of Fear, I gotta tell you, also had kind of a weird alien in there. That was kind of repetitive, but in general, I really enjoyed the house. I like the way they decorated it. But I was wondering, what's the deal with this alien, with this weird creature guy?
People are saying that it looks like the fish from the Superstar Parade. The other thing is that there was a dying dog in the house at one point, and like on opening day, that was like a huge outrage that so many fans were like so upset that they killed a dog in the house. I've never seen it, and I don't know if it's still there, but I went through it again recently, and I didn't see it. So.
Okay, well, that sounds horrific, and it's Halloween Horror Nights, and it's really bloody, and there's all kinds of dead stuff everywhere. Like that dead horse that the dead gladiator was munching on. So I don't understand why a dead dog would be a problem. Not that anybody wants a real dead dog, but it's a fantasy. I don't know why they would make an uproar out of that one thing, because it's Horror Nights. They warn you before you come in.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone's like, oh, a dead horse. Oh well, a dead dog. No, I mean, I'm not for killing dogs, but like, poor horse. Yeah. That could have been someone's pet.
Nobody says Halloween Horror Nights is not an instruction guide on what to go and do. It's for fun, and it was great. Let's see, what do we got? The Graveyard one. The Graveyard Games. I thought it was a great set design. When I went in, I didn't know what it was about. I thought it was a great set design, and then there was one portion of it that just turned dark, which I enjoyed. I just kind of went around, and when I went in there, there was a lot of screaming because we expected something to come out at us. It was great. And the Universal Monsters. What I liked about the Universal Monsters, aside from the fact that they brought back the classic creatures and whatnot, was they really put in a sense of depth. Like in the Hunchback of Notre Dame, it felt like you were in a bell tower. Like I was looking around trying to figure out in those few seconds that you walk through, like how do they make it look like you're really in a huge space? So that I liked. I like that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few places where they have mirrors on the floor that are supposed to make it look like you're looking way down.
Yeah.
But which is an effect that they use a lot, and it's in depths of fear.
Yeah.
When you're walking down a ramp, you can look to the side, and it looks like you're looking way down. But the mirror effect in the Monsters House just didn't work. Like there's too much light hitting the mirror, so you can see it's just mirrors. Yeah. And it was kind of like not even a clean mirror, so you couldn't even see it being reflected. So
it worked kind of sort of in some, not so much in the others. You know, overall, I did like the house. One thing I did like that they did in the graveyard and also in Us was I like it sometimes when there's multiple creatures in there, because one or two of those creatures is actually an actor, and they're going to come at you. So you're kind of trying to guess, you know, because whoever the actor is, they're sitting really still. Yeah. So I always enjoy that effect. They did that a couple times in this one, and I really enjoyed that.
Which brings to, I don't know what's next on your list, but...
That's all I had.
At the House of a Thousand Corpses.
Never made it to the House of a Thousand Corpses. Oh, that's one of the best. Is it? And it was at the end of the night, and we were so tired, and we were kind of looking around for it, and before we knew it, we were at the front, and it was 1:30 in the morning about, and we're like, well, come on, let's get out of here. We just left, which is odd for me. But so I know I thought about maybe coming back to do that one, but no, I don't know anything about that one.
Oh man, that Ghostbusters and House of a Thousand Corpses are probably the top two houses this year.
Oh, yeah?
I'd say Ghostbusters more for me, because I like comedies more over gore, but a lot of people like both of them. So, like for Brian, it's a toss up between two, but he goes with House of a Thousand Corpses. There is spoilers. There is a clown when you first enter the house that is completely still, and then goes and there's also the Bill and Ted phone booth outside, which is a prop that they reused.
Oh no, I didn't notice. I did not notice. But and what about those street experiences?
Those were awesome. You two liked, you and your girl liked the Vanity Ball as well, like I did.
Yes, with the that was the one with the fashion show. My God, what did I call it? It was like a wild androgynous drag outlandish freaking runway from hell. It was awesome. It was amazing. We hung out there for a while because the way these guys were strutting around and jumping on and off the stage, and that little tiny box that they just kept all popping out of, it was like a clown car. I'm like, how many people are gonna come out of this box? And the MC, these people, you had to stare at them. It was awesome, and that's what they were there for, you know. And then on top of that, they would jump off the stage and really just come at you. A guy came up to the girl next to me, and she jumped 3 feet back. It was amazing. That was a really great street experience.
Well, they want you to look at them. It's all about vanity and attention. Did you get to see both MCs or just the guy?
No. You told me about the girl. I only saw the guy because I walked around, and on the way out, I passed by there again, but it was the guy again. Because you said the girl was really good.
Yeah. They're both really good. I just prefer her.
Yeah.
But you can watch one of my videos. I'll send you the link. So the other one I liked was the Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe, which is based on his album from '98, I think, somewhere in the '90s.
Okay.
That was the Rob Zombie one with all the flames and the dancing girls and all.
I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed the couple on the stage on that one. I think one of my favorite, and I remember because I was looking at the guy, and then I kept walking, and he jumped off the stage and was following me. Didn't know until a couple seconds. It was great. And I think one of my favorites was the Viking one. I like Viking movies and stuff, and I kind of like that one. Yeah.
That's always cool because that's an Central Park area. They always hang things from the trees. I like in the daytime. There's fog that kind of fills in that area, and you can see the sunlight going through the trees, and like you can see the beams of light through it. Which
great. I always love that area. This year, the Chainsaw Guys, which I usually always enjoy, and I did enjoy them this year, and it's interesting. They're always there, and they're always around the Simpsons area, but wasn't terribly crazy about their costumes this year. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the chainsaws were kind of lit up like that before.
that's new this year for both an arcade, which is the one we first walked through with the arcade cabinets, and over in Simpsons.
I like that area. Yeah, the arcade cabinets. Yeah.
And the lasers.
The lasers, yeah, with that kind of mist going through it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys if you're watching and you're in the Springfield area. There's a couple of them that are awesome. They're killing it. But for the most part, I don't like it as much as I normally do, and I usually love going through there. So I don't know.
It's still great. It is still great, and definitely they keep the chainsaw guys, which I think is great. But the twist they kind of gave them was a little. But I'm all right. Yeah, I still enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Like there's usually clowns or carnies or something. I'm not even sure what the costumes are supposed to be this year, but you know. Well, one year they had orange jumpsuits, which I thought was great. Yeah, I thought that was great, and it looks like they were just escaped from someplace. Yeah, and the chainsaws weren't neon or glowing.
I'm sure the orange jumpsuits didn't let them hide very easily, though. But the thing that's so great about a scare actor is you can be looking at the scare actor, watching him, and they can still get you. So, like, even if you know they're right there, they can still get you.
Yeah.
But of course, when they can hide, that's even better.
I remember when that happened to me exactly once. It was a few years back. And the guy was in a wheelchair. And for some reason, I was looking at him. It was The Purge. Street Experience, The Purge. And it was amazing. This guy was awesome. He was in a chair, and for some reason, I just was staring at him, you know, because I don't know, there was something about him I was trying to figure out. And he got me because he saw me looking. Yeah. And he started kind of creeping towards me real slow. And then boom! And it was great. I gave him props. If you can make me jump, I'll give you props.
Yeah, they've actually got me a few times startles this year. The best thing that they do is they'll see if you're paying attention. If you look distracted or like zoned out, that's when they get you. So you didn't get to hit the shows, did you?
No, didn't hit the shows this time. No, not this time.
Well, it sounds like somebody needs to come back and see it one more time before the event ends.
Well, I don't know. Is Bill and Ted back? Bill and no.
Sadly, no. But you have to go through the House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, yes.
It is amazing, especially if you saw the movie, which I actually did.
No, I did not. And normally I try to hit all the movies. Yeah. I try to keep a track so I can hit the movie so I can get the full effect. Yeah. But this time I know I missed a couple.
Well, then that means you need to go get the movie, watch the movie, then come back. So thanks for joining me today on Dave and Brian Live and letting us know what you feel about the Horror Nights this year, and hopefully we'll have you on the show again. Maybe you'll come up or stream over Skype or something. But back to you guys in the studio. All right, cool. All right, sorry about that was actually on the day I was working. He came in the next day after Horror Nights, of course, to record his reaction. And I had my work bag, not my camera bag, but I had my wireless microphone, my wireless kit or my audio kit, my camera in a separate bag, and I think one other thing. And I completely blanked out on a windscreen. So sorry about that, but most of it's not too bad. And that's like a $30-something wireless microphone kit. So I'm very impressed.
Yeah,
how good that sounds given the price. And that's one place. It is Captain America Diner in Islands of Adventure. If you go to the back, there's an outdoor seating area. In one spot, it's like really quiet.
Yeah.
And then that microphone, in my opinion, rejects ambient noise really, really well. So that's where we had our little interview. I didn't really have much time to set up because I had to go to work. But yeah, so that's obviously going to be available if you want to watch that again as playback.
Yeah. Outside of those few wind gusts, I mean, it was good audio.
Yeah. Every time I felt the wind blowing, I'm like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't somehow plan for that, but always learning stuff. But otherwise, once I did pass it through an EQ, because it sounds like Sounds like a phone conversation otherwise.
So, welcome, Phenomenal. Welcome, John. Thank you for joining us today. Phenomenal, Brandy, to answer your question. So, I am in the very beginning of the house of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think I'm scare 4. Scare number 4, depending on if we have everybody that we need. What you're going to do, you're going to see... It's spoilers, by the way, Brandy, but like, you know, just for your purposes of seeing me, you're going to see Shorty, you're going to see Slim, then you're going to turn a corner and you're going to see like the puppet show from the gazebo, and then you're going to see Spikes come out and scare you, and then like down the hall, you're going to see me. So like, Dave, would you say out of all the scares, I'm like one of the most visually apparent?
Yeah, well, once you know where it is, once you turn the corner, there's the guy. What are you gonna do? Knock my block off guy?
Yeah.
You'll hear
Shorty.
that audio. You'll turn a corner. There's another room, but once you pass through there, it's a straight on shot. He's at the end of the hallway. So, just keep. I mean, obviously you're gonna be paying attention, so I don't want to be like pay attention. But just every time you go through the doorway, just look at the end of the hallway. And I guess that's. Hopefully you'll have good timing, but yeah, it's where you're positioned is easy. It's hard to miss you.
Yeah. The one tricky part is like my scare's a little bit long, so like depending on where you might be, you might catch the beginning or the end or even the whole thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you catch it just right, you'll catch the whole thing.
Unfortunately, the ideal thing is for both of us to go in, so then I'll be there and he says,
"Don't worry, Dave. All we want to do is kill." Yeah.
But unfortunately, you guys are coming during the blackout times. Yeah. By you guys, I mean you and Duchess are both coming during the blackout time, which I guess is why the blackout time, because a lot of people are coming.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we can't hang out in the park during the day. Just we can't be there. Or well, you're gonna be working, but if you go into one of the stay and scream areas, you might see me, but I'm usually over in a corner where it's hard to get to anyway. But I don't have the money to buy, even though we get a discount on the tickets. It's not in my budget to buy a ticket, unfortunately. Sorry.
Hey, Dave. To be in the holding zone over by Minion Mayhem, do you have to be in a resort?
You mean resort priority, like
do you
stay and scream, or what?
For that holding area?
Where the one that's out by Men and Blue Man Group.
Yeah,
that's resort priority. You have to be. It's not really a holding. Well, it kind of is. It's once the stay and scream lets out, if I understand correctly, if you are staying on site, doesn't matter if it's the Portofino or if it's the new Endless Summer Resort. Doesn't matter budget. If you have an on-site key, you can stay in that area and you will be let out between, if I remember correctly, between the stay and scream areas and park open, which is we say it's 6:30, but with a possibility of earlier. Mm-hmm. But just in case you happen to come on a night where we have something crazy happen, and we can't open early. The promise is we should be open. We're generally open by 6:30, often earlier, but we don't want to like get your expectations up just in case something happens that one night. But
what I recommend, Brandy, is if you are staying on site, go to that holding area because Killer Clowns Parade's right past there.
Okay, where is that? If you're going multiple nights, I recommend going into the park, into a stay and scream area, but maybe try that one night as well.
Yeah, if you want to see the clown parade, that's
yeah. What I told a guest a few days ago was go at about 4:00 is when we aim to have the stay and scream area open in New York. Go into the stay and scream area and either pick Ghostbusters or Stranger Things. Stranger Things, that line gets ridiculous for Stay and Scream.
Yeah, yeah.
Go into one of those two houses, even if you have Express. Go into one of those two house lines early, be in the front, go in, walk through the house, then straight back towards Men in Black to the back of the park, because those are really low wait times for the beginning. And if you go to Ghostbusters and you think, well, I don't want to be in a long line for Stranger Things, you're going to be in a line for Stranger Things no matter what.
Yeah.
But if you wait, you're also going to be in a line in the back of the park. So that's my recommendation. But maybe one night, see the parade.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, if you would like to see the clown parade, go to the resort priority holding area. And I always do I do this kind of thing. You better behave tonight. But
obviously you're here for multiple nights, so I'd say do one night and do the other night. You'll still be doing better than if you came in the front gates. So
yeah.
So that's good. And Killer Clowns isn't open early, so you can't, it wouldn't really benefit you to wait for it because it's a pretty slow start, right?
Not really. It sometimes takes a few minutes to get the flow going, but really, like, once we open up, like, we're steady.
Oh, Scare Actor Dining. Oh, cool. Okay, I've only done the Scare Actor Dining once in 2016. Every year I watch videos of it, and the problem is we went during the year that Chance was in the Scare Actor Dining experience, and she was just amazing, so awesome. And after that performance, like every other year, like I know the scare actors are scaring their asses off, but their characters limit what they can do, and it's just not as interesting to me. So hopefully we'll have a character who is like Chance again, and we'll but hopefully you'll like the Scare Actor Dining experience. And all those people you see running it on the outside are people in my department. I haven't been scheduled that yet, but the schedule for when you're here hasn't come out yet. So there's a possibility I might be working the Scare Actor Dining experience on the outside. And Scream early. Scream early. You have daytime tickets though, right? I'm guessing, or maybe. The Scream early is if you don't have tickets for the daytime, but yeah, that's another way of doing it. The plan I said, which is going to the Stay and Scream area in New York, and then going from there. There is one over in Springfield, which is less crowded and less crazy. And it's also a good way to, if you're done with Ghostbusters and Stranger Things, and you're like, well, it's going to be in line no matter what, that's an even better way to get to the back houses. So let's see. And we've done, Resort Priority, as we said, is in a different spot today, this year. I say every year, I wish we knew about that, or wish it happened the one in 2011 when we were staying on site.
Yeah.
It either didn't happen, or it was only our second Horror Nights, so maybe we didn't know about it. I don't know.
I think that year we went through front gates at 6:30, and we didn't do Stay and
Oh, that's
Scream.
right. We were, because somebody was running late.
We were both running late.
Well, it's because somebody was waiting for somebody, or something like that. We didn't have time. We couldn't go through. We could still go through Resort Priority, but it's less of an advantage. Oh, you wanted to ride the UT once? Okay. Usually done Springfield before, but planning to do it. Okay. Not have daytime tickets this trip. Oh, okay.
We can help with that, Brandy, if you like.
Yeah.
If you want to enjoy the daytime parks like once or twice, we can help you out.
We did not have time. Decided to save the money and bought Oh, it's the behind the Scream stores. Oh yeah. Okay, we haven't done that. I haven't done that since 25.
Yeah.
And that was before the. I know it's really exciting to watch this reading, but I haven't done that since 25 because it is a little pricey, but it's pretty cool.
And you learn a lot about the house.
Yeah. And back, I've said before, when we went the only time, they didn't have the rules that they do now about photos. You can take photos in any house, doesn't matter if it's IP or not. But
you sadly can't really choose which houses you're going to tour. Was it 3 houses?
It was 3 houses, but he said because we went through them so quickly, we ended up going to 4.
Oh, that's right. We requested to go into Asylum in Wonderland 3D, and they, the tour guide did that. But normally they kind of have a set list, and you get what you get,
as opposed to a set list.
Yeah.
Oops.
But no, I hope you get to tour the houses that you really want to see. They're all gonna have like neat things to them, but and like Easter eggs that.
She said all 9 houses, so hopefully the one that you miss isn't one that you wanted to see.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's gonna do both tours.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Stella.
Come here, Stella.
So yeah, this I guess you guys noticed that this microphone I just finally ordered, and I learned from my mistake before with this one. You'll notice that this one has a windscreen on it, not because Brian's really windy. He might be winded, but winded means you talk a lot. But the reason is because this is bare metal, and maybe John would know, but a tight pattern on camera creates that moire effect, which is kind of distracting. So the only reason that the windscreen is on that is to, oops, wow, good job, Dave, is to keep that effect from happening. So this one you can see is just painted black, so I didn't have to put one on here.
And what do you think of it so far, Dave?
Sounds pretty good, audience. What do you think?
On a scale of 1 to 3, what would you rate this?
So I'm looking at the camera and all I see is a image of a creepy little kid.
What? Oh.
Because like the way that, or actually I guess 2 kids. I thought I was just, my eyes were crossing.
Are these
the way that the camera is set up, it's reflecting just that part of his shirt.
Yeah, see, to me, I see your face and the YouTube play button reflected in the lens.
But all I see is horror.
All you see is horror.
So I've been talking about a little bit about the meetup, and it's like, well, it's when we get to Halloween Horror Nights time, it's a little while away, but oh my gosh, it's next week. What happened?
Yeah.
Huh? Wait, I don't get it. How did that happen? So
October's going fast. It really is. I mean, there's only a few more weeks left in the event. Like that's kind of crazy to me.
And kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. It's sad.
And they've already started moving Christmas stuff in. So, I decided that because it's a non-Horror Nights night, I believe parking should be free if you're not staying on site. So once again, it is Wednesday, October 16th. Most likely you're just going to do it the way we had last time. When you walk from the parking garage, walk over the, there's like a walkway. You get to the end by the movie theater, just keep going straight, and there's a giant Coke bottle. I think that would probably be the easiest to meet there, because if you come into the City Walk from the water taxi or the resort path, if you're in City Walk, that giant Coke bottle's hard to miss.
Yeah.
So, last year we kind of gave up after a while, so I figure start at 6, and then I don't know, by no later than 8 o'clock if it's just Brian and I sitting there, which I'm sure it won't be, but we'll just go. and go home.
Yeah.
But again, that's Wednesday. It's the 16th of October.
Be there.
Or be somewhere else. Also, just to remind you, I think a couple of you have clicked on the Amazon link since last show, so thank you very much for that. I still ended up a little short last month, which is a bummer, but again, like I said, this microphone, this pop filter came with it, and the stand and everything. Bought that on Amazon using some credit from people clicking on the Amazon link, so stuff like that really helps. And still waiting. So John, he said it was in radio.
Yes, and he gave a check 4 comment. Divided by 4 equals 2. So he said it's a pretty good microphone. So on a scale of 1 to 3, he gave a 2. So 2
out of 3.
I said on a scale of 1 to 3.
Oh, I didn't hear him say that.
Yeah.
Well, more like for the fact that it costs $30-something for the pop filter, the holder, the microphone, this holder. It came with a USB interface, which I don't need, a XLR to mini, 1/8 inch, which I don't need because I have a mixing board that takes XLR. But it came with all that stuff, and another windscreen, which was completely crushed and unusable out of the box. But whatever, I'm not going to use it.
I mean, that sounds like a good package for $30.
It's a very nice package. Thank you.
But yeah, John does have he did radio for
all right,
at least a year. I think 2 years, right, John?
What I really would like to do is, and it's also, it's not like top of the line either, is I would like to get a Rode podcaster mic, which is $100. So for a microphone, that's not that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of debating whether or not to buy this one and then buy another one that's more expensive. But first, it's not even available yet. I keep checking B&H, and it's not. It might be on Amazon, but Amazon has a problem with fraudulent counterfeit items, so I haven't bought it there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to buy it there, but it's not even available. So I'm like, well, this works for now. Hopefully, we'll get some more money coming in, and there's a few other things I want to get. So, didn't get a chance to. There is a list on Horror Nightmares of all the music in Halloween Horror Nights this year. Didn't get a chance to really go through that because I've been working a lot lately, and between regular work and I finally started doing freelance work again. But every year I look at the list and I'm like, wow, I don't remember that many songs playing, because when I'm out in the streets, the general music, it always feels like there's 2 or 3 songs, and like that's it. Phenomenal. When you come to Horror Nights, do you notice a lot of different songs, or does it just sound like 2 or 3 songs? Maybe it's because I'm in and out of houses. I'm not sure. But there's also a very long list for all of the scare zones. Maybe I hear it a little bit more with Vanity Ball, because like Ozzy said, I do spend a lot of time just kind of sitting there and watching the show and listening to the commentary and stuff like that. Excuse me.
So I am looking now. There is a pretty extensive list on horrornightmares.com. It goes over Main Gate Park-wide background music, Halloween Marathon of Mayhem show background music, Killer Clowns from Outer Space Maze background music. Now being in that house, I know that there's a lot of like songs that you don't normally hear just because of like everything going on.
Yeah, Horror Nights Nightmares is it's a really good website that they do this every year. What happens is it's a forum, and I believe people contribute their separate posts. I'm not sure how they verify it, but people contribute the different posts, and they and the pinned ones is at the top with the master list. Now on there also is a list somewhere of people have compiled. I'll just post the link here of hidden things, Easter eggs in the houses. They're not really verified, but
speaking of Easter eggs, I wanted to point out. You mentioned earlier about smells in the house. Nightingale's blood pit has a lot of like very strong smells to it.
Yeah. So that's the list. We're gonna talk to Bret about his Horror Nights experience, but we'll get to that at some point.
Yeah.
He's obviously been going a lot as well. So. You have some stuff to talk about.
So,
about Horror Nights.
Yeah. So I hadn't, when we did our long review, I hadn't seen every single house.
Only 3.5 hours.
And now I have seen every house. There's times when I swipe out where if I'm quick enough, I can get out of costume, get out of makeup, and see one house for the night. And if I'm fast about it and I got the time, I can go all the way over to Kid Zone and get into Universal Monsters and get into Graveyard Games. And also I had a night off on Saturday for Brick or Treat.
Uh-huh.
And then
which is awesome. We'll be getting into that soon.
Yeah. When we got home, I had a couple hours to go to Horror Nights, so I was like, yeah, sure. And I went through Killer Clowns during my cast. And then I got to see House of 1,000 again and just to do things that I hadn't been able to do. So I've seen Universal Monsters, Graveyard Games, and Us now completely. I want to say I'm really, really impressed with Universal Monsters. Right when you... In fact, before you even enter the house, there's a projection on the building with some things going on, like some blood splatters and wolves howling, and you see like the different monsters' faces. And then as soon as you enter the house, they hit you with statues of all the Universal monster icons. So Dracula, the Wolf Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, Quasimodo. And the mummy as well. And
the mummy shall have his revenge.
Then you go through each room dedicated to each of the monsters, and then the final room is a kind of free-for-all. Like all kinds of things start happening. There's some very interesting things that happen in this house. For example, one of the first scares you'll see, like scare 3 of Wolfman, is the Wolfman comes out and starts like swiping at you and howling, and then a hunter comes out and shoots. And if you see the whole scare, the Wolfman actually like flings back on a bungee cord.
His name is Elmer Fudd.
And it's something that Hollow Scream does, where they have scare actors on bungee cords.
Except they even do even further. They go at you.
Yeah. This time it's the Wolfman is like being like pulled away, like he got shot so hard. That was great. There's a lot of really neat scares in here.
That worked.
There's a lot of really neat scares in here. Like the Mummy has a particularly good scare with a double scare. Some very neat effects in here. Like they've got when you're in Dracula's castle, you see Dracula and then you meet Dracula's wives, and one of them is flying around. There's not a character flying, but like it's one of the Dracula's wives is flying and feeding on somebody. There was another really neat scare in there that I'm forgetting right now. Oh, Quasimodo. Quasimodo comes down on the bell rope, tolling the bell, and that's really neat. Like, I don't think they've ever done that where they've had a scare actor like just come down like that.
I went to the house, I think, twice before I saw that.
When I went, it was the end of the night, so like the house was pretty much empty, and so like he did it for me, and that was great. So like this was really like their passion house. A lot of show direction. Who is responsible for making the design of the houses and what houses we have, and it's generally horror nights in general.
Yeah.
Several of them are big fans of the Universal monsters, and so you could tell like a lot of passion went into this house. I'm very happy with it. It's House of a Thousand is still my favorite house, but now Universal Monsters is up there at the top with me.
You still got to go with the nostalgia for Ghostbusters, though.
Sure. The nostalgia for Ghostbusters, the fact that I like House of a Thousand Corpses and I got to represent Killer Clowns, but Universal Monsters is definitely up there. Like the house is beautiful. There's a lot of really neat scares in here. Definitely, like even if you're like, oh, I don't know, Universal Monsters, like back in the black and white days, I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely go in there. Like, do not skip on this house. Like, whatever you do. Bret, if you got a couple of days, like you'll definitely see everything. But
yeah,
like if you're pressed for time, you're like, I don't know about Universal Monsters. No, get in there. You'll definitely be happy. And it's they definitely amped up the monsters just because they fit in with modern horror. Like everything's like very hardcore. Like they're really coming at you. I definitely recommend this house. It's an A+ for me.
Right. So, while you're doing that, I realized that the light up here is casting green on the skull. That's why it was fading out here. And so I was like, well, what if I turn it off? I think I have enough light for the background. And, it looks a lot better now. Cool. So, so that was all the houses.
I'm going to talk about Graveyard Games now.
Okay.
So Graveyard Games is another original house, very neat. The concept is very cool that there's this local graveyard and a lot of kids will go there to play hide and seek, but they're nice. Like they pay respect, and the spirits that happen to dwell in this graveyard like them. And there's a lot of lore to this house. While you're waiting in line, it's kind of hard to take in, but like there's a Facebook feed. Is that what you call it? Like there's like a Facebook wall of like people talking about things.
Yeah, well, it's not Facebook, but it's basically a copy of Facebook.
Oh, sure. So that kind of idea. Like
it looks like it's being scrolled up and down with a phone, and every once in a while cuts to a video.
Yeah. So there's a lot of lore, and it's kind of hard to like read, but
it's the background of the house. If you have time to stand in line and watch it, you'll understand the house more.
Yeah. So like they mentioned several things like the glowing mother, which you definitely see in the house, and there's like these teenagers who they want to have their own fun, but they want to go kick over tombstones and just cause mayhem in the graveyard, and well, that makes the spirits angry. And so there's talk among this feed about like, no, you guys shouldn't be doing this, and you're disrespecting the dead, and I've seen things, and like something's gonna come get you, and like and then there's like one lady like trying to talk to her boyfriend like, why won't you answer me? All right, I'm coming to get you. If you answer me, I'll So like that's the basic premise of the house, is like you're going to a graveyard where there's been a lot of activity. The first scare actually makes me laugh. It's one of the punk teenagers, and he's just screwing around. Like he pops out and it triggers, scared you, dork, and then like it sprays like this I don't know what it's supposed to be, like Lysol or something at you. It makes me laugh. And like when I went to the house, like he did a scare and he laughed and like he slapped his hand at me. I was like, oh. Oh, by the way, when I was there on Saturday for Brick or Treat, I went through Ann Arcade, and since I know a lot of the characters in Ann Arcade, I was doing this to them.
Oh, share a break room?
Initially, it's complicated, but like where I clock in is Ann Arcade's break room. Then I get my costume. Then I go over to my break room after Clown Parade. So like it kind of more of a process for me, but I know I kind of share a break room with Ann Arcade, so I know a lot of them.
But you work in the same spot that had Asylum in Wonderland.
That is true. That is very true. And somebody in my cast also was in Asylum in Wonderland. She was one of the Alices.
Oh.
And somebody in my department, who is my scheduler, was also in Asylum in Wonderland. He was the White Rabbit.
Oh, nice.
Time's up. Down, down, down. I was going through the zone, like, giving hearts.
Yeah.
And the lady on stilts, like, waved at me. And then, like, when I went further, she turned around and brushed her leg up against my shoulder. And that kind of got me. And so I went by her again. I was like, you just got me now. She's like... and then, like, the one guy I know who was in the Carney Saws last year, so I did share a break space with him.
Oh, okay.
He did this, like, really intricate, like, twirl around dance with the chainsaw for me, and I just went, yeah!
Yeah. A couple of times that I've gotten a few. I've actually gotten startled more this year than ever before. And a couple of times, when I'm on camera, because I'm like watching them and like recording them, and they come towards me, and I'm like, I should have saw that coming.
Yeah.
But it worked well for you because it's a really good like in your face, but in the lens, run up and scare.
Yeah.
So
Graveyard Games is a really cool house. I like the lore of it. That this is a very active graveyard, and people who know about the graveyard like know that the things go on there, and like there's one guy talking about
stuff happens.
Toward the end of the house, there's like a statue, and it's glowing like red and blue, and like you hear this like choir music going on, and that's the glowing mother, and I think according to lore, it's like one of the oldest. Like,
well, thanks for joining us, Brandy. We'll see you soon.
All right. Yeah. Have a good night, Brandy. Thank you for joining us. One of the oldest.
I can't believe it's already next week. It feels like it was for so long. It was in a few months. Like, you're gonna have to change your Twitter name next week from no longer soon.
Yeah. I think the glowing mother is one of the oldest tombstones in the graveyard, so she kind of watches over everybody. And then you meet the teenagers, you meet the kids, and so definitely try this house too if you're not sure about it. There's a lot going on in this house. Like, it's definitely one of those houses where you could go through several times and always see something new. And I think I talked some about us, but a little more about us is it's definitely highlights of the movie, kind of like Ghostbusters, where it highlights of the movie. I do like the choreography of us, and the fact that it ends with the Hands Across America scene, which what Ozzy was talking about in your interview was people standing still, and you're like not sure like which one's real, and then they pop out at you and get you. So that's I just wanted to fill out my review a little bit more.
And then you're going back.
I'm going back tomorrow night.
Right.
Tomorrow night's my last guest night. After that, I will be scaring for the rest of the event. So I'm going to try to catch opening moment at Gates. It's going to kill some of my time, but that's all right. I've seen everything. The one thing I haven't seen is opening moment. And I know what goes on. Like, they say something, and then like a lot of the saws come out and scare everybody.
I watched I was looking for a video of it. I watched one video like, okay, we're here for the opening, and then like it cuts, and then they're walking in the park. I'm like,
yeah,
like
what
the
happened?
whole point of the video was to watch the opening ceremonies, and you just cut right past them. Like here we are walking to the park. I'm like, okay, it was a waste of time.
Now, if you and me ever make it to Universal Hollywood, we definitely need to see opening ceremonies because those are wild.
Yeah.
Like
I'm guessing it's going to be like we get there and we stand there for a couple of hours waiting because I'm sure that everybody else is getting there early to be near the front for that.
But like, say what you want about Orlando's event. Hollywood blows us out of the water when it comes to that opening moment. Like,
yeah, we had a really cool one once when there was the actual stage show. I think that was the opening ceremonies, but
are you talking about Riff from the Silver Screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I heard that was a good year. I'm like, great. That was the year before the first year we went.
Yeah.
But I did talk for quite a while to a guest who was coming from California, and this is their first year in Orlando for Horror Nights. And one of the things is like, oh, do you guys have a problem with light leak and stuff like that? With we used to, and as far as because there is a working movie studio. Our park was supposed to be a working movie studio, but it never really happened.
I mean,
and
it is like they shoot there.
No, not really. I mean, like it's a movie studio first, and they also have a park. Like us, we have things going, but it's not primarily a movie studio. But basically, he was wearing a Dr. Satan shirt, and from House, and I was like, "Oh, cool shirt." And then we ended up talking for quite a while about the differences between the two. We used to have two houses. One was in the Jaws queue, and one was in the Disaster queue. Both queues don't exist anymore, but we used to have houses in there. If you went early on, you would see it would be very bright in the house. But we don't have those problems anymore. Even in the tents, we still you still don't have a problem with the lights and with the sun coming in and like brightening it up. It worked for me when I used to shoot the houses because it was plenty light. But yeah, we don't have the problem anymore. But so hopefully I didn't get to catch up with him afterwards. But hopefully he enjoyed our event, and I was like, yeah, I was over on the West Coast this year, but I didn't get to Universal Hollywood. Yeah. Although to be honest, as much as we love Universal, if I was over there on the West Coast during Halloween time, my priority would be going to not Scary Farm.
Yeah, sure.
If we could do both, we could do both. But I would want to do Not Scary Farm first.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Do you guys like the ones who are left? The pumpkin. I bought the little light for it, and I had no idea it changes colors. One of the colors is green, which means that you don't need to see it because it gets keyed out. But so I just wanted to ask.
No, John. We've never been to. The only Halloween events we've ever been to are Halloween Horror Nights Orlando and Hallow Scream Tampa.
And Brick or Treat, which we'll talk about.
Oh, and Brick or Treat, yeah. And we're about to get to that.
And actually, we've been to a bunch of them. Brick or Treat and SeaWorld as well.
Yes, that's true. SeaWorld Spooktacular.
Yeah.
Bodie62 says, hi, Bodie, and bye, Bodie. Nearly 9 o'clock Wednesday morning, and I better get some work done. And my countdown clock tells me it's only 53 weeks till the next Orlando trip. So
cool.
That means a little bit over a year. One year and 1 week before his next trip. So
hopefully it'll work out better with us, like not missing you this time.
Yeah, Bodie, when the time comes, let us know when you're in town so we can come say hi to you. Okay?
Yeah.
We would like to go to Halloween Horror Nights Orlando.
Hollywood.
Yes, Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood.
I would love to go to Halloween Horror Nights Japan because theirs
sure.
looks amazing.
Yeah, sure. Really, honestly, like if I had the money, I would just like go to every Halloween event.
Somehow, they don't not like overseas, but somehow Kyle goes to like so many things.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I wish I could do all that stuff.
Now, you haven't been, but I went to also a local Halloween event called Petrified Forest.
Oh.
Which is, it's a lot less guests than Orlando, and they do a thing where you, it's an optional thing. It's voluntary. You get a glow stick, and if you have that glow stick, then the scare actors know that they can try to grab it from you, by any means necessary. Like they can't like physically grab you and like punch you down and like
mace.
But like they can try to grab it from you, or they can try to like talk to you and like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? I kept mine when I went, but like one of my, so it was when I was in The Shining, so 2016. No, 2017. I'm sorry, 2017. It was me and a bunch of the house attendants, and like during the first scare, like one of them lost their glow stick like right away, so that was funny. And then I remember one guy was like trying to talk to me. He's like, "Hey, buddy, what you doing around here? You're not from around here, are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm just passing through." And he like tried to grab. I was like, "Oh, nice try." But yeah, like we're just big Halloween fans.
Yeah.
So we would like to go to Universal Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. Yeah. But maybe someday. You never know. # goals.
Yeah. Well, I keep hoping that I know I'm part of the problem, but I keep hoping that my channels keep growing and grow faster, and I'll get some more money coming in to be able to afford to do things like that. But
what you're making the moves, you're making the steps.
Yeah.
You're always trying to improve, so that part's good.
So as far as John, you said I've been there. I take it. Where's
we already said like we haven't been to Hollywood.
Oh, you've been.
He's asking us if we ever been to Universal Hollywood.
Oh no, I haven't, unfortunately.
Why don't you say where you were on the West Coast?
I guess you missed that part. I was in Anaheim for VidCon. Went to Knott's Berry Farm because it was only about 10 miles away, or maybe even 10 minutes away. It was very close. And Disneyland because it was less than a mile away. Mm-hmm. And I was there primarily for the conference. I went to Disneyland and Knott's because they were so close, but I didn't have time to do anything else. The problem is that Universal Hollywood would be at least an hour away each way, and that would be 2 hours out of my trip when I didn't have much time to spare.
Yeah.
If I flew in and went to Universal that day, I was already leaving at a very early time. I left here like 6 a.m. Because the earlier flight was just, I think there was a slightly earlier flight, but it was way too expensive. Mm-hmm. So I already got in like at 11, I think it was 11 a.m. Our time or their time. But then I had to go from the airport all the way to the hotel to drop off my stuff, check in. Then I'd have to find out when I could get transportation to Universal, which I might have to wait around for the bus. By the time I got there, it'd be like maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and maybe even a little bit later. So I'm like, well, that didn't really work. So the other thing is, I left my stuff at the hotel and went to Knott's Berry Farm, which I'd rather do anyway, just because we don't have one. If I went to Universal, then I would have to put my stuff, have them hold my stuff at the hotel, get transportation an hour away, leave early enough to make the trip back to the hotel, pick up my bags, then go from the hotel to LAX, then leave time for security and everything else, all that stuff at the end, which means I'd have to leave really early, and I wouldn't have a whole lot of time to do anything. So, and then the days in between, I was at the conference. So, as much as I wanted to, it just didn't work out. The only way I can do it is staying another night in the hotel, and I was already staying another night in the hotel for which turned out to be Knott's Berry Farm. So it just got to be a cost thing.
Yeah.
As much as I can get in for free. The hotel cost was too much. And it's kind of leaves me room to have more stuff to do if I go back.
Yeah. And hopefully someday you'll make it again.
Maybe not next year, but the year after. I need to work on some other expenses. I want to replace this camera. That's going to be, it's the camera that is replacing the one I want hasn't been announced yet, but people are thinking it's going to be about $3,000 for the body, and then I have to buy the lens. So if I get that, there's no that would take care of my California money and then some.
Yeah.
So is that all the houses?
I want to remind people,
Stella.
if you make it into Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Right.
If you make it into Nightingale's Blood Pit, there's a lot of smells in there. I haven't been able to notice the cotton candy smell that much in Killer Clowns.
Wow, because it's pretty well pronounced.
Something funny to me. Nobody else is gonna find it funny. Yes, hi Myrtle. Hi. Yes, look. You
Stella's gonna laugh.
Look right there. Look right there. You see? In House of a Thousand Corpses, there is a toward the middle of the house when you see the victims dress up like the rabbits. One of them is a victim and has pops out for a scream. The scream is the same scream used by my victim in Slaughter Cinema.
Oh.
So that I heard that, I was like, wait, huh?
Because that's recycling, and green is universal.
That's right, Dave. So like last year in Slaughter Cinema, I was the barber, and I would say a little off the top, and then they would turn the corner and they would find my victim. He would pop his head out. You see, I sculpt his head, and he would make a particular scream. And now that same scream is in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
It's just very funny to me.
I wonder. It's not. I wonder how often it is that a trigger has different phrases. Because you had 3.
Yeah, 3. In Ghost Town, I know the bartender had 2 phrases. Really, it's as much as they could probably want. I'm sure there could be 5 or 6 if they so chose.
Well, how long before people are going to come in and quote your line, or maybe next year or in person or something? Don't worry, Dave. Or have you heard it yet?
I haven't heard it yet. I keep hearing "Great Party," isn't it? Like everyone remembers me for that scare, which is really awesome. Thank you guys.
It's also probably because it's short.
Yeah, sure, and it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's possible that. Actually, no. I take it back. Like a few guests have done this, like during my scare. Yeah. Like they'll do this or they'll do this. So like there's a couple like repeat fans of the house, and like instead of saying like "Don't worry, Dave," they'll do this. One of my scare actor friends, who actually when I was off on opening night, covered my scare for me. Did the whole routine with me. Like he stopped and stood and like we did this together, and then he left. So like a couple people like the scare. They might not necessarily recognize me, but then I also have the other fans who go, "Oh, great party, isn't it?"
Well, sorry, I don't know what you expected.
Yeah, sorry, I Steal Records LLC. Oh well.
Well, if you want, you can leave some comments below of what you'd rather us talk about. I know we're kind of dragging a little.
No, not really. Look, not everyone's gonna like this.
No, we are. So moving on to some not much Disney news. Our Disney man is coming on next time, maybe. So the Skyliner is now open. I haven't had time to go on it. Luckily, I wasn't on it when it shut down for apparently 3 hours. So
that part's good.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the people who were stuck on that for 3 hours. That's kind of lame.
Yeah. Maybe next week. But I haven't had time to do that yet.
Okay.
Oh, Brandy's not here. That's why.
Yeah.
So. All right. So I was like, why is that still there? Oh yeah, that's right. She had to leave. So now to Brick or Treat. Now what we're gonna do here is I'm still working on editing the review, or the video from Brick or Treat. So would you let come? So what we're gonna do is this is gonna be at the actually end of the video, not just here.
Okay.
And so much water. All right, so this is our second year going to Brick or Treat, and this year was also really awesome. There's some upgrades. I made a few upgrades to my costume. Putting in some makeup. I was thinking about doing it last year. I just never did. And the Groovin' Graveyard returns with some upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't remember if it's the same show or if it's just like a very similar show, but it is pretty cool. Where it's there's a musical track, but they also play drums and cymbals along with it. So
I believe it's a similar show, not quite the same as last year. A little bit different, but like the same kind of thing. It's you're in the graveyard and the spirits have awakened and now they're gonna jam out, play some drums. A mummy, a Lego mummy, 2 female mummies, and some drummer zombies.
Yeah.
So this is a show that you were looking forward to. So what'd you think?
Yeah, I think we were both looking forward to it.
Well, yes, but you know.
Yeah, so I really liked it, and last year we had some pictures with the zombies, and it was just them in the back of the theater against the wall. I'm not sure if it was just like something that was kind of last minute, like, oh hey, why don't you guys go to the back of the theater and get some photos? Because both times we've gone on opening night, and there was just the wall and the poster that happened to be there, and I don't remember if they even had some lighting. But now there's some lights in the back of the theater which light up the photo spot, and there's sometimes it's called a step and repeat, is a background. Needs to be a little bit wider, but it is really, really cool. And I don't know if the mummies were out last year for photos because we didn't notice them, but they are this year. So you get to have photos with both the mummies and the zombies as separate photo ops. I'll put that in. I probably already put it in the review. And there's also an area outside of the theater where you can interact with the drummers, which is the zombies, and get some photos there as well. And you saw the clip of them playing, which is pretty cool. And of course, adults or kids can come up and try to and play some of the drums as well, which is pretty cool.
They do some very neat tricks, like so they drum on this barricade and do some tapping, and the female mummies will move the barricade twice, once backward and once forward, and so the drummer has to tap and move backwards while this barricade is being moved, and that takes a lot of skill.
Yeah.
A lot of like really cool just like stick techniques being used by the drummers. They do play at a set, and they do the percussion tapping. I like the show, especially if you like drumming, and you're very interested in drumming. So like,
Yeah.
This is a really cool show for the both of us.
Yep. The Candy Trail was awesome again.
Yep.
We got through almost all of it without anybody saying, "Oh, you're adults." But you know, we did it for the video.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but this year we have annual pass holder bags, which is really cool. They had I forgot to bring my pop badge, but you saw in the video. And lots of ups for meet and greets. We missed a few of them because we got there a little bit later because we didn't go to the water park this year. So I thought, well, we have to get there really, really early. So we missed a little bit, but we got to see most of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our quick recap of Brick or Treat. And
I will want to
here.
say Candy Coated Curse is the same show as last year. It's a show I like that you don't care for, which is fine. So you went to go see Griffin Graveyard one more time. I went to see Candy Coated Curse. It's the same exact show as last year, including the same cast, which is great, which is fine. The one thing we both kind of agreed on, between the hours of 5:30 to 7, there's really not much to do in terms of Brick or Treat. You could take that time to go on rides or do the Lego Miniland scavenger hunt if you like. But I mean, if you've seen everything, then you're kind of just waiting for the jamming jack-o'-lanterns and the fireworks show. We love Brick or Treat. We had a great time.
Yeah.
So
it feels like we're, especially because we didn't get there early in the morning.
Yeah.
It felt like we were kind of rushing to get a bunch of stuff done, and then like, oh.
Yeah. That's the one downside to this event is like between 5:30 and 7, maybe fill in that space a little bit more. But that's it. That's our only like feedback as far as improvement wise.
And it could be because it's a kids thing and kids get up early, that like get all that stuff out of the way, and if you haven't been to the park, here's some time to go on rides, and then so you're not. It's not like Horror Nights where you can't really go on the rides and also go to everything.
Yeah.
So.
But do we talk about being recognized in the video?
I don't remember.
Well, do you want to talk about that briefly?
Well, we were recognized by a few people.
Yeah. So we wore the same rocker outfits we did a year before.
Yeah.
And so people, it's easy to recognize us that way. Apparently, last year we went to the meet and greet with Frankenstein's Monster, where they give you some Lego guitars and you pose with Frank for a picture. Apparently, like a picture.
Well, do you want to say that publicly?
Okay, maybe not. We were recognized by.
They remember us from a picture that I think I just posted on Twitter. So like, oh hey, you're back again.
Yeah, which is great. That's awesome that they recognize us like that.
And you got recognized at the Candy Coated Curse.
Yeah, after the show, I always like saying hi to the performers and saying, hey, you guys are awesome, great job, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I recognized them, and so I was like, wait, were you here last year? And he's like, yeah, I was. And so the scientist and the wolf, man, were the same performers. I do believe so was the other one. And then the witch was the same as last year, and she recognized me. She said, oh yeah, I looked in the crowd, and hey, I know that guy. And it was funny, like after the show was over, like a guest looked at me and said, oh, I thought you were part of the show.
Yeah. There were some people, because the Frankenstein's Monster was in a different spot this year, they had some people in costume with a microphone. In fact, that's why like security for a second was like, can we let them in like that?
Oh, yeah.
That looked a lot like what we were wearing. And unfortunately, we didn't get video of them because we missed it.
Yeah, well, the meet and greet was about to end. It was like 3:15, and we were like, all right, well, we've got till 4, and then if we want the priority seating for Groove and Graveyard, we need to go to the 3:30 show. So that was our big rush of, all right, we gotta go here, we gotta go here, we gotta go here.
Yeah. Well, we also didn't realize that the guy with the microphone, who yelled out like, "Hey, you stole my hair!" We didn't realize, or we didn't think about the fact that he might be gone by the time we came back.
All right. Boydie62 says, "See you next time, and maybe one day we'll get to come to Sydney. I'll show you around, and if I've not retired and moved to Orlando." Oh, all right, Boydie. Have a good day. Hopefully,
yeah. Well, hopefully, my sister actually went to study when she was in college or university. She went to Australia for 6 months, which I was like, I would like to do that.
Cool.
Maybe not for 6 months, but.
Yeah. Hopefully you get some work today, Bodie. Get a lot done. Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah. So every time I look at this, the stats say it's 4 people watching. So I don't know if that's updating or if it just happens to be, I don't know.
It might be people just not commenting, which is fine.
Yeah, but it seems like it's kind of weird that it'd be exactly the same number when people are coming and going. But oh well. So on to SeaWorld. They have their Halloween Spooktacular. Probably can't go this year because it's on weekends.
Yeah. And
we both work on weekends. But I didn't think about the fact that Sesame Street is a new area in SeaWorld, and they have a Halloween parade now. Hello, Universal.
Well, we have way too many guests to facilitate a parade.
During the day, we have a parade. It could be done. We do it every day. I'm saying, during the day, we could have a kid-friendly Halloween parade.
Oh.
Because we have a parade during the day, but we don't. Not Berry Farm has, I think it's not Stella, not Spooky Farm, which is a kid-friendly. Yeah, that's right. Don't go in there. Kid-friendly activities during the day, which I wish we can do at Universal, but we just don't. And then there is a candy trail, which, based on our experience, is for everybody. When we went through the first time, they didn't question, they just handed us candy and other treats. So, I don't know. I would have to request time off, and I'm running out of time for that. But
it's too late for me. I'm already booked.
Yeah. So
I would. I don't think I could request off, but it's probably not going to happen. I would have to do it during audition. So maybe next year you and me can go.
You and I. Yeah, keep doing that.
It's tough to avoid. You got all this stuff in your way now.
Well, this sticks out more than that one does.
Yeah.
So other stuff. We are done with this list for theme park stuff finally, and just because it happens to have happened today. Sony actually announced, or sort of pre-announced, their next gaming console. What do you think the next generation of the PlayStation will be called?
The PS5.
Whoa, you saw it too, didn't you?
No, I didn't. My superior intellect has guessed, based on logical facts that have been presented to me, that it will be the PlayStation 5.
Whoa, you got that right too.
Yes, I did.
So apparently the PlayStation 5 is called the PlayStation 5. And
what about the Xbox? Is it going to be called the Xbox -1?
I don't know. They didn't announce anything yet.
Okay.
Apparently they've been getting leaks all over the place. And so they're like, okay, we'll just announce it. But it kind of also leads to the fact that E3 is kind of dying. Because usually that they would have this massive press conference and all these screens and stuff like that. And when they announce it there, they just kind of like, okay, here it is.
Well, look, in the digital age of social media, Nintendo kind of spearheaded this years back, like years and years back. Like Nintendo would do their press conference at E3 by just showing videos, and even like they even put them up online. So like, if you
but they still went like E3. I didn't realize the last few years anyone can go to E3 now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's declining.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be available until next holiday season. So it's over a year away.
Okay.
Or about a year away.
All right. What is the price, Dave?
They haven't announced stuff like that. They just announced that it's coming. It's going to have haptic feedback, which is kind of like what the iPhone and the Apple Watch has. Instead of a motor that rotates an off-center weight, it's more precise.
Okay. So
it can be like one rumble or more refined. Mm-hmm. And there's also going to be feedback in the triggers, so that like it's more immersive. So it's not always the same resistance. Like sometimes you might have to squeeze harder, sometimes not as much, and you get like just feedback as you're pushing the buttons. Other than that, they haven't announced anything. That they haven't announced how it. And also it's going to use 100 gigabyte discs. So we're still using discs, but apparently you have to install it. You can't just play it off the disc, which is interesting. And also it's going to have solid state memory. So other than that, details are obviously going to be coming throughout between now and next year. I hope it's going to be pretty cool. I'm not going to get one, but I felt like the transition between the PS3 and PS4 was not that awesome.
Okay.
The PS2 to the PS3 was a pretty big leap. Mm-hmm. The original PlayStation to the PlayStation 2 was a pretty big leap. The 3 to 4 was like, yeah, it's better, I guess.
So, you are also the Sony fan. Are you going to get a 5?
Did you not just hear me say I'm not getting one?
I heard you talk about the leap from the 3 to the 4 was okay. I didn't hear anything about like I'm not going to get one.
I literally said I'm not going to get one.
Okay. All right.
So, I don't know if they're ever going to try a handheld again, but their hardware is always great, but it's just kind of like, okay, now what?
All right. It is kind of odd that you have the disc, but then you have to install the software. That's a little odd to me, but I think the intention is to have like less read errors.
I think it doesn't fit on the even on 100 gigabytes. It doesn't fit, so they need to like decompress it. Maybe I don't know.
That's what it is. I know that the big thing about the PlayStation 2 was it had a lot of disk read errors. Like that was a problem with that machine. I didn't particularly have a problem with disk read errors on a 3. Did you?
No. And I haven't had any problems with the 4, so
okay.
I don't know. But anyway, so that's this week's this show for now.
Okay.
So
thank you for joining us, everybody. Bodhi, have a good day. He says that he's working in the office, but still has us in the background.
Oh, okay.
So have a good day, Bodhi. I guess you can go ahead and switch over to some music if you like.
Yep. And we'll be seeing some of you already next week.
Yeah.
Wow. So
7 days.
Just wait for the chat to catch up. There's always a big delay.
Yeah. See you. Any final goodbyes? So goodbye, everybody. Have a good night.
Yep.